A special thanks to Nathan of Defending the Game for playing the game with me and helping write the script. I have a large collection of arcade games. I wonder how much money it would cost me to complete all of them if it was a real arcade. Only one way to find out. During the 90s, beat-em-ups were one of the most popular genres in arcades. Pretty much every games company was trying to get involved in the big success of them, and in doing so created some of our most treasured childhood games. Konami gave us X-Men, Midway gave us Mortal Kombat, and Namco gave us Tekken. Among this pseudo-war of beat-em-ups, Capcom was one of, if not the, leading force of beat-em-ups. There were many great titles under their name. Some you can now buy in the collection, but one of their most famous and influential titles is Final Fight. So, a little bit of trivia before we start. This game is technically a spin-off of the game Saturday Night Slam Masters, also a Capcom title, as one of its characters, Mike Haggar, is one of the playable characters in Final Fight. Not only that, but this series is canon with Street Fighter, and it's where a few of the Street Fighter characters that we know today have come from. At the end of the video, I'll point them out in a little game I'm going to call Street Fighter Bingo. And if you get to the end of the video, let me know how many you spotted. But for now, let's look at the real game. The intro to the game shows us a map of Metro City, which is riddled with crime. Newly elected mayor and former wrestler Mike Haggar has plans to tackle the crime. The dominant gang, the Mad Gears, aren't happy with Haggar's plans though, and kidnap his daughter Jessica, holding her hostage unless Haggar agrees to let them continue to run wild. Haggar contacts his friends Cody and Guy, and they set out to take down the Mad Gears, one member at a time. You can choose between Haggar, Cody and Guy to play as. There are no individual stats on display, but if you let the demo play, you get a description of each character's fighting styles and abilities. This includes their special abilities and potentially some less obvious moves. Guy has the best attack speed and can wall kick. Cody is a well-balanced fighter and proficient with knives, and Haggar is a powerhouse at the sacrifice of speed, and has a sweet-ass mustache. The controls are a simple 2-button and stick scheme. 1 button to attack, 1 to jump, and the stick to move in all directions. They can also be used in combination to perform other moves. Attacking while jumping gives you a flying attack. Pushing both buttons at the same time performs the health-draining spin attack. Walking into an enemy grabs them, where you can then punch them, throw them, and in Haggar's case, pile drive them by jumping then attacking. And it's never not satisfying. As well as Fists of Mass Destruction, you will find many items on the way. There are a total of 3 weapons: knives, katana, and a pipe. The knife can be thrown but also used as a melee weapon by Cody. They do roughly a full combo's damage in one hit and can be found when they drop from enemies and sometimes in containers. Food and drink can also be found in the same way, and different foods will restore varying amounts of health. First level takes place on the street on the wrong side of town, as you set off to save Jessica. The levels are made up of short little sections, so it looks like you are working your way through a huge city. The city also feels alive as well because some of the enemies will interact with the environment as they spawn in, such as emerging from a building or chilling by a wall. These little features add to the atmosphere of the game and highlight the fact that you're outnumbered. After a short fight on the street, you enter a building of a basement, beat up some squatters, then back onto the street where you meet the first boss, Damned. Damned? Damned is the man who spoke to Haggar on the TV. His attacks mainly revolve around interrupting you mid-combo, ignoring your hits and jumping away after being hurt. When he takes enough damage, he jumps away and sits on the subway entrance while additional enemies spawn in to wear you down. Then he'll jump in off screen to get a cheap shot in. Only tactic is good old fashioned, hit him until he stops moving. Level 2 takes place in the subway. New enemies begin to appear with new moves and attack methods, so you need to be aware of who's attacking you. Enemies in this game are also a bit of a paradox because they are numerous, but not, if that makes sense. What I mean by that is that the types of enemy are very few but made to look like there are a lot through stat changes and palette swaps. You have the basic cannon fodder that attack in packs and only know how to do a punch or two, the agile bounty enemies who throw knives at you, the fat fuckers who charge you, and the tallest fuckers who fight like Haggar. There is some variation to the enemies which might include a new attack depending on what colour they are, but most of the time they are reskin with differing stats. Once we clear the station, we board the train and the fight continues. I honestly can't say I've seen a train so big that a wrestling match could take place inside it, though that would be one hell of a WWE match type. Once again, the game shows off its atmosphere of a living, functional city with the moving background complete with sound effects of a train. It's because of details like this Capcom stuck out. back when they put effort into their games and not microtransactions. Battling your way for the front of the train makes it grind to a halt, where you disembark and then beat up a few guys along the track. At the end of the track, you burst through a barrier to an underground fight pit and fight the boss. I have to question this part though. Our train stopped and the tracks imply that if it kept going it would have crashed into the ring. Why didn't we just get the train going again? This boss uses dual katanas which he drops if you hit him enough. The tactic for this boss is to keep the katanas away from him, as that is when he does the most damage. If he is unarmed, he attacks by giving himself invulnerability frames, then chest bumps you to knock your sword away. Find a pattern in his charges, attack when it's right, try to reserve your health to counter his iframe bullshit, and you will beat him. You have brought great dishonor to your ephemery. Taking a break from the action, we now get to participate in some mindless violence. Street Fighter fans will recognise this. Beat up the car in the time limit for bonus points towards an extra life.
Oh my god!
Level 3, it's night time and we are moving towards nicer parts of town. Speaking of nice, the graphics are just that. Everything is well drawn and clear with lots of attention to detail. Drips of water in the underground tunnels, animated lights on signs, even wear and tear on the buildings. So much detail's been put in and a lot of love as well. Backgrounds are hardly reused and the variety of backgrounds make you feel like you have come far figuratively and literally. Having said that though, when people are in the background, it doesn't look so good. They are either static or out of proportion figures or simply animated with worse detail. Forgivable though because the character models are really good quality and that's what you'll be looking at the most. Beating up countless gang members is thirsty work, let's get a drink. It wasn't locked, you know. After needlessly vandalising the bar's property, a fight breaks out and the patrons do not give a single fuck. No, this must be nightly activity in the city. These two look like they're having a heart-to-heart and the barkeep is either reading his paper very fast or shaking his head in disappointment. After another brawl, you go to leave the bar when you are ambushed and carried away by a thug, as player 2 just casually follows. You wake up in another fight pit and have to fight 3 giants to escape. Giants are cheap as shit to fight. They always seem to grapple you first, there is no build up to their attacks so you can't avoid them, and they are twats for doing frame perfect counters. If you get through this frustrating battle, you return to where you were and battle on the streets and more until we encounter a crowd who have gathered to watch you fight a policeman, straight out of a low budget porn film. His health is low for a boss, but his speed and unjustified invincibility frames are his main line of defense. His tactic is to attack you from a distance with his rapid fire revolver while his lackeys try to cheap shot you. If you split up to recover his retreats, he goes down surprisingly easy. Goes down as in defeated, not the porn star way. Level 4, and we find ourselves in a smelting factory where the floor is most definitely lava. Random spurts of fire will attack both player and enemy alike. They're hard to avoid, especially when you get locked into a small space trying to avoid fire and enemies at the same time. Expect to die here a fair bit. The game is really trying to milk you for money now. It was trying before, but now it's going all out. Especially when it comes to the boss of this level. Fuck this fucking guy in his fucking ass with a grenade. He's only vulnerable at certain moments and you only hit him by luck because of the amount of times he spends zooming around the map and can't be hurt, even if he goes to attack you. As you do more damage to him, he gets faster, he gets new attacks, attacks more frequently, and is harder to hit, and on top of that, he has one of the highest health bars in the game, and the game teases you more and more with how little life he has, and you can't fucking hit him. You don't even get the satisfaction of killing him. When you land the final blow, he blows himself up with his own grenades and tries to take you out with him. Fuck this fucking shit stain! If you're playing in an arcade, expect this to be where it ends. I think it's time for another round of stress relief. Let's smash some glass with our bare hands. Well, our hands are torn to shreds now and we should go see a doctor, but we only have 2 areas to go, so it can wait. Area 5, we've been fighting all day and it's getting later, so let's take a stroll along the bay. Look at that. How relaxing. The sapphire waves, the warm contrast of the city lights. The sound of gang members being beaten up. It's the true beauty of life that we fail to appreciate. The sound design and music is a mixed bag. Apart from the women, every character has the same voice. The sound effects are okay. They're simplistic, but they suit the purpose, even if everything does sound a bit distorted. Music, however, varies a lot. It all sounds like it's being played on a keyboard, as is common for the games of the 16-bit spectrum. But I honestly can't find a song I like as a whole. I only like parts of the songs, like here where it sounds like it has a rhythm. Other times the notes sound like they drag on for too long. Or a cat walked onto the keyboard while the composer was playing. Perhaps more effort could have been put into the music, but it's not the end of the world. Continuing down the dock of the bay, we fight our way through the sexy toilets and spot the exact moment the sun comes up. We can't stop to admire it though, as the level's boss comes to be our first victory of the day. The most important victory of the day as well. He is just a giant guy with two new attacks, a charge up punch and a throw. He isn't difficult, but the additional enemies make the screen clustered, and in co-op, it's inevitable that you're going to be hurting and possibly killing each other. After his defeat, the final area, a raid on the tower of the gang leader. With it being the last level, it's pulling out all the tricks it can to keep you from winning and taking any amount of money from you. Attacks from off screen, groups of powerful enemies, clusters that cause you to friendly fire, environmental hazards, and environments that block your view. All these combined make for a tricky and frustrating experience. And it's also a long level, so you best bring your A game and get ready to smack all the bitches. When you make it to the top of the tower, you encounter the final boss, who's in a wheelchair? Well, I get he's the bad guy who's the leader of a gang that terrorizes innocent people and possibly has murdered some of them. Not to mention kidnapping the mayor's daughter, but I don't think I have it in me to hit someone who's in a wheelchair. Good thing Nathan does. And look at that, he doesn't even need it. Okay, now I've lost all sympathy for you, you fucking benefit cheat. I'm really gonna put you in a wheelchair now. For an end boss though, he is very underwhelming. He doesn't have any additional phases or super attacks or anything like that. He only has 3. Shoot crossbow, jumping shoot crossbow, and rain bolts. The difficulty of this fight comes from the enemies interrupting the fight, and each of his bolts will take half your life bar if they hit you. If you're lucky though, you can hit them out of the air. He's also guilty of abusing iframes to fuck, moving around fairly fast, and just being a cheap fucker. On the plus side though, it's possible he could shoot his own men by accident. Once you know how to dodge, he is somewhat easier to beat though. Yeah, he's gonna need more than a wheelchair now. When you kill him, you supposedly knock him out the window. Although for me and Nathan, it looked like he willingly jumped and turned upside down out of the window. With the gang boss dead via murder or suicide, depends on how you look at it, Hagar tends to Jessica while Cody and Guy leave. Jessica and Hagar share a moment together and the credits roll as we watch Cody and Guy leave. The credits get interrupted by Jessica chasing after them to talk to Cody. Guy beats the shit out of Cody for some reason, then Jessica and Cody share a tender moment. Aww. To some of you watching, this probably didn't look like much of a game, but back when it was released, it was groundbreaking. Solid controls, amazing graphics, and a variety of enemies and locations made this game enjoyable and memorable. Obviously because it's an arcade game, it does cheat to get more money out of you, but when it isn't, you get a very entertaining experience with lots of fun and lots of violence. I would highly recommend this game, even if you don't like beat 'em up, just so you can say that you've played it and experienced a part of gaming history. Before we end though, it's time for Street Fighter Bingo. So that's 7 characters who started in Final Fight and then appeared in Street Fighter. How many did you find? Let me know below. Thanks for watching everyone. Join me next time when we'll be seeing what it'd be like if Mortal Kombat was made by a group of first year game design students.